Don't do anything that's uncomfortable and not grow from it. So I definitely grew from this experience. Let's give you more details. I asked y'all for your questions over on Instagram, and y'all came through with the great questions, things I honestly should have asked myself before diving into this whole thing, but you get to watch it here in this video, especially if you are wanting to become a professor or do some adjunct professor work. We'll talk about what that is, because I honestly didn't know what it was in this video. Let's jump into it. Try to get my water really quick. How do you get a job as an adjunct professor? What does that mean? What were my first steps? Really great questions. So I would say the very first step is providing value to universities around you, perhaps even the university that you graduated from. So my alma mater is the University of Texas at Austin, which is where I was teaching. And I provided value by returning back. I was invited by one of my professors, which saw my YouTube videos and decided to invite me back to give some inside perspective on what social work looks like out in the field, right? Which is always invaluable information as a student going through an MSW program or your BSW program. So I went back and I lectured. I took over the class for a day, I also vlogged that experience. I will link it up above. It was a great, wonderful experience. And she actually recommended me to the university because they were needing adjunct professors. Now, what an adjunct professor is, it is a social worker that is in the field of social work. Currently, they typically have a full-time job. Like myself, I'm a school social worker by day. And then on my spare time, I provide value to the university in the form of teaching a course. And so the course that was offered to me was an introduction to social justice. I didn't have any real choice. I did have a choice. I was offered either to teach human development, or the introduction to social justice. And introduction to social justice, while it wasn't my first choice, I'm glad I did it. It was very, very challenging, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But it wasn't my first choice. However, it did fit into my schedule. And I think the most challenging part of it all was really finding a way to balance everything into the schedule, which brings me into the next question. Where do you find the time to do this? I wouldn't recommend this to someone that is just starting off in the field of social work. I have been doing school social work for about a decade now. And so I have a really good feel of how a school year goes. And so I felt like I wanted that challenge. And teaching a class at the University of Texas at Austin was definitely that challenge that I was up to this semester. However, time management was a really fun, crazy balance that I didn't quite expect. I'm not gonna lie, there were nights, weekends that I was just bawling, right? From stress, tired, physically exhausted. I took a hiatus from YouTube, hiatus from all the social media stuff, because I was just so overwhelmed. And now that I'm reaching the end of the semester, I see the light at the end of the tunnel and I can breathe, and it's just been a lot. If you don't follow me over on social media, like other outlets, mainly Instagram, I've shared that I am a recovering perfectionist. I'm a complete introvert, and so this pulled a lot on me. A lot of imposter syndrome showed up for me in this space, and that's all things to kind of expect. So speaking of planning, right? How do you plan lessons and tests? And that's the part that scares you most. Ironically enough, I wasn't really thinking of that when I took this opportunity. I just really wanted the opportunity to teach in front of students, and do that as a living. It's a possible career choice that I might kind of go into in the future. So naturally, I wanted to get this on my resume. I have planned courses out for y'all here, aspiring school social workers and aspiring clinical social workers. So planning out courses is something, and curriculum is something that I like to do. I've done a lot of research on that, read some books, listened to a lot of podcasts on how to provide content and teach what I know. So I use that same strategy to build out my syllabus. I planned out what I wanted to teach, but in drafting off my syllabus, I had total and complete freedom to choose the text I wanted to use, the assignments I wanted to do. And I really built that from the ground up, just using different books, different resources, things I would have wanted to know, which is what I do here on YouTube. I teach and I share the insights that I wish I had starting off. So as far as tests, because I was able to build my own syllabus, I knew that I didn't want to teach a social justice class, a critical social justice class based on like exams. So a lot of my graded work was based on attendance, participation, and I had a lot of smaller activities. So we did a song reflection activity. We did an introduction to self and looking at our own identities type of reflection, and that was in a video format. And then I also provided a final exam that was more of a choice, right? Giving options, but there was nothing really tested or graded as far as like not needing a Scantron, not needing things like very traditional sense in that. And I love that the university did give me full freedom to grade and to do what I felt was best in order to teach the content of this type of course. So the class that I taught, being an introduction to social justice class, was for bachelor's level. And I was going to say BSW, but it wasn't even BSW. This is bachelor's level undergrad for the entire university. So it wasn't a particular social work majors. And that had its own issues for me. I think that's why my imposter syndrome kind of crept in, because I was like, oh my God, what am I going to offer to an engineering major, pre-med majors, and what else? I think I had a business major. It was just very overwhelming. It took me some time to realize that these are people, students, young minds that want to learn beyond what they're told to learn. And the classroom environment and experience was really just beautiful in general. I am so impressed by the students there, and I had a lovely little class. So the students themselves, no complaints whatsoever. They made the whole experience well worth it. As a Latina, as a minority leading this classroom for social justice, it just felt like the right place to be in. Despite all of the challenges that I mentioned before, I knew I was in the right space. I knew I had to take space. And I've shared that. I've shared my journey. This is the video here that my professor actually watched and has been sharing. I think I went off on a little bit of the tangent. Let's go into the next question. One thing, my own sister is going through her own master's program right now and about to be done next spring. And so I'm so excited for her. But one thing, and kind of troubleshooting with her, it does feel like I'm talking to, it feels like I'm doing a live. It feels like I'm doing a YouTube video. Like I am just talking to this group of little black boxes, right? And I never had a virtual course or any online courses in general. I graduated back in 2007 before I really think that was a thing. Everything was in person. And so it really threw me off. One thing she did tell me was, make sure you let the students know that you're available through a direct message, right? So on, let's say, a Zoom class, instead of having to type out their comments to the whole class, like so everyone could see, they were messaging me privately, and that's where I did get more engagement, more feedback. I provided my email and got feedback through that. I think that my personality, being just very open and warm and just receptive to what's going on, always checking in at the beginning of the classroom and providing an environment where they felt like they were going to be heard. I got some emails early on in the semester, kind of September, October, from some students that were really appreciating the course content and things like that, and that really kept me going more than they know. Drilling down more into time commitment, what does it look like per week? I'd say it's about 6 to 7 hours additionally a week to like prep the course, grading and reflecting and choosing activities. I like to do a lot of tangible things that are going to help them think beyond the textbook. And so that took a little bit of like scouring and research to figure out what activities can I use to teach the concepts of social justice and really get them like to experience it. I know that's how I learn best. So I'd say 6 to 7 hours per week. And as far as pay, that's what it is. I don't know. This was my first adjunct position. And so that may be good or bad. I'm not sure. If this is something that you are truly looking into, something you're interested the way I was, I'd say make sure it is a time in your life that you are feeling very stable, very steady in what you're doing as far as your day job, because this is gonna rock the boat a little bit. And if you're not ready or used to that, then I would just really wait until everything is stable, because it does pull a lot from you that you're not really sure how you're going to react. As far as for myself, being a perfectionist, being an introvert, it pulled a lot of my energy, more than I thought. I did plan in a lot of self-care, including a trip to Disney right mid-semester as a little reward for myself. And I don't know what I would have done without that, honestly, because it is a lot. I don't know if I do it again. I think I do it under different circumstances. Teaching social justice in general is a lot. It's very, very hard. It's a lot of self-work. And I think that's something I didn't expect to be challenged in that way, kind of really doing a lot of inner work as well, which is something that was part of the creative process that I kind of guided the students along as well. I definitely have a newfound respect for every single professor out there, because it is a tough job. But if you're looking to do it, I would start by providing value to universities around you now. Volunteer, to mentor, to be a supervisor, to go back and lecture, right? Be a guest lecturer, get yourself out there, get your name out there for the universities around you. And then when they have positions opening up, they will recommend you. And that, I feel, is the best way to really gain this type of teaching experience. That being said, thanks for watching this video. Let me know if there are any more questions that come up, and perhaps I'll do another another quick Q&A. Sorry, grab some more water. I mentioned before that I was taking a little break from YouTube because I was pulled in so many different directions, but I will be back with more videos. Until next time, I'm wishing you social work success, and I want to leave you this video as well, and is sharing my experience of vlogged a day, going back to my university, and giving and providing value and feedback. So you can check that out next, and we'll see you later. Bye, guys.